Hello everybody, welcome to Kreets Football where we talk all things football. It's match day 23 of the Premier League season. So many mouth-watering clashes to look forward to this weekend. Before we jump right into the reviews of those matches, I want to say what a season we are seeing. It's been quite a remarkable season. We've seen a lot of focus on defensive play. There's been a lot of teams playing low blocks. There's been a lot of long balls compared to what we've seen in previous seasons. And so far this season, in the 22 matches that have been played, we've seen 17 goalless draw, compared to last season where we saw 16 in the entire season, and the season before that we only saw 11 goalless draw. So we see so much focus on defensive play this season, and it's really hurting the eyes of the fans. But that's what we are seeing. Such a slim margin in many of the matches, but that's what we have come to see. And there's so many data points that points to how competitive it's been and how much focus is given to defensive play in the Premier League. The league is averaging 2.74 goals compared to 2.93 in the previous season. That goes to show you so many data, and that's the reason why you would notice that many Premier League teams are outscoring themselves in European competitions than they are in their local league. And I'm sure we can expect more of this as we head into match day 23. Reminder to like and subscribe to our channel. It's free and it will definitely help me out. That said, there are some mouth-watering clashes to look forward to this weekend. And of course, the most important one is Arsenal versus Manchester United at the Emirates Stadium. Manchester United is pumped up off the back of that big win against Manchester City. They'll be looking to get some points off Arsenal at the Emirates, and that's something that's going to be very interesting to look forward to. Michael Carrick will be looking to win his second Premier League game in charge. Arsenal, on the other hand, they've drawn their last two Premier League matches 0-0, and now they are facing Manchester United. They won midweek against Inter Milan in what was a really nice win. Of course, Inter Milan had lots of chances. They caught them on the counter many times, and we know Manchester United is very good at doing that. So that's going to be interesting to see how Arsenal line up and how Manchester United line up this weekend. It's going to be an interesting one. Arteta, of course, faces the challenge of who to pick to start against Manchester United. He has Gyökeres, he has Jesus, and he has Havertz fit for this match. And of course, the three of them have different style of play. Gyökeres will be more suited as the battering ram as opposed to Jesus if you need to connect more in the game. Personally, I think Jesus might be more fitted for this match to start, and then Gyökeres finishing it up. But we'll see what the gaffer thinks about that. Let me know who you think would start against Manchester United this weekend. Interesting what to look forward to. Let's go into some of the other matches. Manchester City versus Wolves is happening on Saturday, so it's earlier than Arsenal's match happening on Sunday. Man City coming off a bad run of form in the Premier League and also in the Champions League. They just lost to Bodo Glimt in the Champions League, 3-1. Rodri getting a red card in the 62nd minute, and now they are facing Wolves. And informed Wolves are unbeaten in 2026. Of course, Manchester City now have Semenyo and Gueye, and they can probably start this one. It will be an interesting game to watch. Wolves will be looking to get something out of the game, and Manchester City wouldn't want to leave anything on the table. It will be an interesting one to watch. Crystal Palace versus Chelsea is another interesting one to watch out for. Chelsea, fantastic run of form, which since Rosenio joining, except for that loss against Arsenal. Palace, on the other hand, they haven't won a match of football since December 11th. It's been tough for Palace, and they are coming up against a rejuvenated Chelsea. And now they've lost Mark Gueye to Manchester City. It's going to be a tough one, but I'm favoring Chelsea to get all 3 points at Palace this weekend. We'll see how that pans out. Newcastle versus Villa is going to be a cracker, entertaining one as well. Unai Emery versus Eddie Howe showdown. Let's see how that goes. It's also going to be very tight. Newcastle is a very disciplined team. Villa, of course, they lost their match against Everton last weekend at home, and we'll see how they recover from that in this match. Bournemouth versus Liverpool. That's going to be tough. Liverpool drawing their last match against Burnley, and Bournemouth drawing their last match against Brighton. So it's going to be an interesting one, and I can assure you Bournemouth is not going to make it easy for Ancelot's men. So it's going to be a cracker. West Ham versus Sunderland. West Ham must be feeling really good back off their win against Spurs. So they'll be looking good, feeling good going into this match. West Ham versus Sunderland. Of course, Sunderland also winning their last match against Crystal Palace. So they'll be looking forward to that match and getting something at the Hammers. Fulham versus Brighton. Expecting that to be tight. Burnley, Tottenham, as well as the match against Brentford and Nottingham Forest, and then there's Everton and Leeds. An interesting weekend to look forward to. But one thing I want to point out at this point in the video is that no team has been able to string 2 wins in the last 2 Premier League matches. No Premier League team has won 2 matches in a row in the last 2 Premier League matches. That's an interesting one. It shows how tight the league is, like I said at the beginning of the video. So some exciting matches to look forward to this weekend. Let me know what your predictions are. Who do you think is dropping points? Who is gaining points this weekend? Arsenal 7 points on top of the league. Manchester City facing Wolves. Would either of them be dropping points this weekend? Would Arsenal be extending their lead, or would they be losing some points this weekend? Manchester United definitely will be putting on a show at Emirates Stadium. And you know the Premier League doesn't stop surprising, so we're looking forward to it this weekend. Please like and subscribe if you like what we do. Thank you, and I'll be seeing you later as the results stroll in.